What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special video edition of the DFS Dose Podcast, episode 139. I'm your host, Ben Hauver, joined as I always am by Joey Carrion. This episode will be available both as our usual audio podcast on all platforms, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Podcast Addict, etc. It will also be available on our YouTube channel as a video if you guys want to take a look at that. Look, on today's show, we're going to be looking at a few of our favorite prop bets for tomorrow's big event, the NFL draft. About 24 hours from now, Joey, people are going to be booing Roger Goodell. Trevor Lawrence is going to be hugging a family member, TBD on which one. We'll get to that in a moment. And we will be live tweeting every pick from the first round. Joey, how are you feeling? Are you excited for this draft tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see who the Niners draft at number 3. That's kind of been the big story for the last couple of weeks. I'm excited to see where some of these quarterbacks are going to go, like Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. We had another trade in the NFL today. The Broncos traded for Teddy Bridgewater. So does that take them out of the race for a quarterback in the first round? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see until tomorrow. But it's going to be an interesting draft, probably one of the more interesting ones in recent memory. And I'm very excited. And I'm kind of more excited to talk about these special props. If you want, you can go on our podcast feed at the DFS Dose. We did a part 1 of this series of draft props, which came out last week. Those were kind of more serious. This is going to be kind of a lighthearted prop show, talking about some weird props in Trevor Lawrence and who will he hug first, and talking about his wife's dress and whatnot. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This was a lot of fun doing this version of the show last year. I think it's worth noting, you mentioned who were the 49ers going to take at 3. So Daniel Jeremiah, NFL media personality, one of the sharpest mock drafters out there, one of the most connected people in NFL media, has for the last consecutive 3 years dropped his final mock the day before the draft, and he's gotten the first 3 picks right in every single one for the last 3 years. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out tonight and seeing who he's got the 49ers taking at 3. I think that'll be a big a hint.
Yeah, 100%. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mac Jones, but also I've been seeing some tweets from people, and it could not be Mac Jones either. So
yeah, the Zach Wilson moving down from 2 is a possibility as well. We've seen the odd shift in that. It's going to be an awesome night tomorrow night, but let's get into some of these draft specials. Look, if you've been following the podcast for a while, you may recall last year about this time, Joey had a premonition on the podcast, a vision, if you will. I mean, Joey, feel free to correct me, if any of this story is inaccurate, but the way that I remember it is that you were having this recurring dream, the entire week leading up to the NFL draft. And it was that Joe Burrow, after being selected by the Bengals with the first overall pick, would turn to his dad and hug him. And I know that sometimes in the dream, you were also there. You were maybe like shirtless, getting in on the hug, a little bit of group hug vibes. That's cool too. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that you knew this was coming. You knew who the 101 would hug. Odds were plus 250 for Burrow to hug his dad, hug his pops. And you laid down some action and profited handsomely from that premonition. So what I want to know is if you have that same conviction this year as to who Trevor Lawrence is going to be hugging come draft day tomorrow.
of course, and it's his dad. It has to be his dad. Once again, Trevor Lawrence, the odds for him to hug his father right now on Bet Online is plus 225. So bet 100 to win $225. And I think that is the best prop bet on the board. You're just talking about a father and a son here. A father and a son. They've gone through life together. Trevor Lawrence grew up. His dad put him through football, brought him to his practices, okay? Coached him probably. I could see that happening. I don't know if that's true or not. But he's been there every step of the way, encouraging him, taking him to extra camps throughout the summer to work on his footwork and in his passing drills, okay? That's stuff dads do with their sons. And so the mom is kind of out of the equation because they're just like the moral backbone support system. The wife, who is currently the favorite, I could see that happening, but I just got to go with the dad and the son connection. Makes all of the sense in the world. And honestly, it just comes down to who's standing next to him or who's sitting next to him come the announcement of him being drafted by the Jaguars and who he turns to first. But I think it has to be his pops. That's the only logical explanation for me. So
look, I'm just going to say it. I think you're flat out wrong in this instance. Okay. This is clear cut, going to be the wife. I know it's the favorite plus 100. Listen, the thing that you overlooked in your analysis here is that this man is freshly married. I mean, he got married to his new wife, his high school girlfriend previously. You know, they've been dating for a long time, and they got married this month on April 10th, right? You know, 19 days ago from when this draft will be taking place. Now, if you know anything about Trevor Lawrence, he's a big religious guy, a big faith guy. Chances are, and I don't know this to be true, but I think chances are he lost his virginity in April of this year. Okay. I think that he saved himself for marriage. And I think that he recently just experienced sex with this woman for the first time in his young life. And, you know, that glow, that doesn't wear off in 19 days. You know, he's thinking about that every single day. It was the best day of his life. Okay. They're still in the honeymoon phase. He's going to be looking over at his wife, you know, potentially erect. I don't know his business like that, but I think he's going to be, you know, having a great time. And I think he's going to hug the wife. Clear cut plus 100, play some action on it.
I mean, I think I'll throw a couple bucks on it for sure, because like you said, the wife is the favorite, and I could definitely see that happening. Him hugging his new wife of 19 days, right? Like, it makes all of the sense in the world. But how long has she been around? You know, a couple years, maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not invested in this guy's relationship, but his dad has been there forever. Okay.
Right.
He was in his daddy's nutsack. So they already got that connection. You can't beat that fatherly son connection. And honestly, I would even throw some action in on the mother too, because that's your kid being drafted as the first overall pick. You know, it's a huge moment in Trevor's life. And I think he's just going to want to hug, you know, his parents. I think that's kind of like first instinct is to hug your parents. And it would be first instinct if I was a parent to hug my kid first before they hug their significant other. Obviously, I'm not a parent, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But I don't know, man. I just don't see how he doesn't hug one of his parents first.
Imagine this scenario. Say that, I mean, I don't know what like your biggest goal in life is, but say you achieve it. All right. And say that you're on a public stream as you're achieving it. You know, maybe you're getting hired to like DraftKings to be like the head DFS analyst for DraftKings live on stream. You got your whole family there. Who are you hugging first, your mom or your girl?
I don't know, bro. I can't answer that. So maybe everything I'm saying is invalid right now. I can't answer that.
Yeah, I can't answer that. All right. So let's move on to some of these other props, and we have a couple more Trevor Lawrence ones that I think are pretty interesting. Namely, will Trevor Lawrence be wearing a tie? What do you think about this one? We've got yes at minus 105 and no at minus 135. Yeah. So not great odds on either.
So no is the favorite. And correct. yes is the underdog, although you are laying a little bit of juice there at minus 105. My lean, I think, would be no. I think he's a guy that isn't going to wear a suit and tie if he's at his house. I could see him wearing like a nice windbreaker Clemson jacket, or like a windbreaker Jags jacket, or even like a Jags jersey with like a number 1 on it or whatever. And Lawrence, I think he's one of those just football guys. He's not going to dress up in a suit at his house, not going to wear a tie. So my lean is no. That is the favorite, minus 135. That's not bad odds though, by any means. So give me no on that, and I'll probably lay some money on that too.
Yep, I agree with that. No is definitely the sharp money. I mean, have you seen this kid's haircut? He's not wearing a tie. All right, he's not wearing a tie.
Facts.
All right, our final Trevor Lawrence prop is: do you think that he's going to cry? You know, are tears going to be falling down his eyes when Roger announces his name 101?
So no is a big favorite here. Yes is plus 550. So if you have some conviction on this prop bet, you can win some good money. And if you know Trevor personally, I would probably hammer this on whatever side. If you know him personally, I don't. I mean,
if you know him personally, I'm calling him and be like, bro, please cry. Just a couple tears.
Yeah, facts. There could be a lot of shady stuff that goes down on draft night, especially with these props. And I wouldn't be surprised if he shed a tear or two, but Do I think that will happen? Probably not. I don't think I've ever seen somebody that got drafted cry.
I'm sure it's happened, but yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't recall
probably.
it off the top of my head. I don't know if Trevor's gonna cry. You know, how emotionally invested is he in something that he has known is gonna happen for months? Like, it's
Yeah.
not like he's like, wait, I'm the 101. Like, no, dog. Like, we've known this for like 2 years now. Like, it's all good. It's not going to be a big shocking moment for him.
Yeah.
Last prop in this realm, sort of in the Trevor realm, is, what will the primary color of Marissa Mowry, his wife's dress, be? We have 4 options available to us. Green teal is the favorite, plus 125. Orange, plus 150. Gold, plus 275. And black at plus 425. I'll be honest, Joey, I'm just going to toss this to you. I don't really have any takes. I'm extremely colorblind. I tried to do some research, look up her Instagram, see what her favorite colors are. Couldn't tell a thing. So I'm out on this one.
Yeah, so I haven't looked at her Instagram, but that would probably be the sharp thing to do, is just go take a peek at her IG and see what her favorite colors are. But in this instance, I think I would lean black here at plus 425. Just take the best odds available. Girls love to wear black. I see that all the time. I think
Men
black.
too.
Yeah,
I mean,
men.
black is universally a great color.
Yeah, universally a great option for clothing. I think that is the most popular clothing, is black clothing, to be honest. Well, besides white. And so with that, I would take black at plus 425 is what it is right now on Bet Online. And then my second lean would probably be gold plus 275. I can't see orange happening. Like, who wears orange? Like,
I think it's a Clemson thing. No.
Oh, true. She went to Clemson. Yeah. Okay. No, I could get on board. I can get on board with orange. That didn't even cross my mind. So orange would be my second lean, but black first, orange second, green/teal. Nah, gold. Nah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good analysis. I'm thinking it's probably either black, gold, or orange, and I would just go with the odds there. Go black. Yeah. I mean, can't lose with wearing a black dress. It matches everything. Come on now. Now, what if she doesn't wear a dress? What if she's wearing like a Clemson hoodie or something like that?
Then I think the bet would just be refunded.
Nullified. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. Before we get into some of these trade props, and they're definitely interesting, we got one more really weird one. And it's, how many will teams' draft spot be moved back due to missing a pick? Now, we talked about this same prop last year, and I thought that it was actually a pretty good chance, because last year, April, we were about a month into quarantine. We were a month into everybody figuring out how to use Zoom correctly, and all these stories about how teams had, IT experts in their house, had a whole team of people ready to make sure stuff didn't happen. And I think that, the perspective we had was like, it was pretty likely, right? Like, these are a bunch of old men who don't know what they're doing with technology. And, I thought it was pretty plausible that somebody would miss a pick. It didn't happen. And after a year of being able to iron out the process, I mean, I think the clear smart money here would be no. And that is, ironed out by the odds. No is minus 2,500. Yes is plus 800.
Yeah, no is definitely the correct bet here at minus 2,500. Obviously, that's a huge favorite. But will I bet it? Probably not, because I'm not betting something that's minus 2,500. And just a fun fact for everybody listening, the last time a team missed their pick was in 2011. So 10 years ago. So it's possible. It has happened before in the last decade. I will say that. Will it probably happen this year? No, but it could. It could. And that's what you're hoping for when you're just betting a long shot bet like this. And yes is plus 800. So, if you have $100 to blow and you want a little sweat, bet $100 on a team missing their pick. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into some of these top 10 potential picks and whether or not these teams are going to trade them. Now, this one is really interesting to me, and it's, will Jimmy Garoppolo be traded during round 1? The favorite is no, minus 400. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yes, you're getting plus 250 on that. Now, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of our listeners / viewers caught this, but if you didn't, one of hands down the all-time greatest quotes by an NFL head coach happened earlier this week when a reporter asked Kyle Shanahan, is Jimmy G going to be on the roster, this Sunday, I think he said. And Kyle Shanahan's response was, I can't guarantee that anybody will be alive on Sunday. Now, that is hands down one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard. I mean, if I'm Jimmy G, I'm hurt about that. But do you think Jimmy G was able in any way to appreciate just how funny that quote was, or did he just get sent straight into his feelings? Because I mean, it's pretty savage by Kyle Shanahan there.
No, I think Jimmy G's a cool guy. I think he just has that demeanor about him where he doesn't take himself too serious. He's not going to take that remark too serious. He's not going to take it to heart. I mean, this is a guy that dates porn stars, so you can't be sensitive if you're out here dating porn stars. Facts. I don't think Jimmy G is the type of guy to get butthurt over. It wasn't a joke. Well, it was kind of a joke, but it really wasn't, because he was just angry that whole press conference. But just in terms of the prop and will he be traded, honestly, I'd lean yes, plus 250.
Really?
Just from all of the news that we've consumed over the last month or so, with the Niners saying that he's the starter, and now that they're looking for the starter, and essentially whoever they draft at number 3 is going to be the starting quarterback. I don't see why they would keep him on the roster other than the fact that teams just might not want to take on his cap hit. But I think if you're betting these props sharply and you're trying to make money, I think betting yes at plus 250 is the right side. I could see them potentially trading Jimmy Garoppolo for like a 3rd round pick when it's all said and done. So yeah. I would lean yes. Obviously, no is a big favorite here, but minus 400, don't think it's really worth it, especially for a quarterback that most likely, and I know we agree on this, won't be on the 49ers come September.
Yeah, no, we definitely agree on that. Where I have a problem with this prop is that it only counts if he's traded on Thursday, and Jimmy G's return value is not going to be a 1st-round pick. Yeah. So, if he gets traded on day 2 for a 2nd or a 3rd, or, even later, on Saturday, you're not winning this bet. So
you'd be right, but you're not winning the bet. Yeah, correct, that's a good point.
So that's where I would lean no, and I don't think the odds are good enough to go no at minus 400. So I'm probably just going to stay away from this one. I mean, like I said, I agree. I don't think Jimmy G is going to be on the roster come September, but is he going to get traded tomorrow on Thursday? I don't know if I see that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Let's talk about another one regarding a specific player. Now, this wasn't even really remotely on my radar until I looked at this, but Allen Robinson being traded during round 1 is a prop. Now, no, again, heavy favorite at minus 450. At yes, you're getting plus 275. And the fact that it's only plus 275, makes me believe that this is, something that's within the realm of possibility. I know that Allen Robinson was disgruntled earlier in the offseason, I guess, post the finish of last year. So, I mean, maybe this is something that's, on the radar of the Sharps. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be on the radar of sharp people out there, but I just don't see it happening, especially with the wide receiving core that they have right now. I mean, they'll probably use their 1st-round pick on a wide receiver, probably like Rashad Bateman or Tony, unless they want to get frisky and trade up for a quarterback if one falls. But other than that, like, they have Anthony Miller, who is hated by the coach and the GM. And then they have Darnell Mooney, who's going to be a sophomore wide receiver, and he's kind of a big play threat, but he's not an alpha wide receiver 1 like Allen Robinson is. So I don't think they can trade him. No is minus 450 here. So probably going to stay away from it. Just like that Jimmy Garoppolo prop we just talked about. Yes, plus 275. So pretty decent odds. Maybe it happens. I mean, it's on this sports book for a reason.
Yeah, there's only 2 players listed here, and it's A-Rob and Jimmy G. So, this didn't come out of nowhere. I'm trying to think of like who would he go to? Like maybe the Dolphins trade back. I mean, they're reportedly like thinking, Jamar Chase. So maybe, the Bears want to get a quarterback. They've only got Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. So, I mean, it makes sense. They could jump the Lions, Broncos and Panthers by going up to 6. And then, Miami gets the elite wide receiver 1 that they would, and probably get some significant draft capital in return. So, I don't know. I think that that's possible. And the Dolphins have been a team that have, actively acquired picks and through trade backs, going back to the time that this new, coaching staff and GM came to Miami. So I think that that's a possible landing spot for him. But I think more realistically, and you hinted at it, is that Anthony Miller gets traded, right? Those have been rumors for a long time. We know that Nagy isn't a big Anthony Miller guy, and I just don't see why you would get rid of Allen Robinson. He's an elite player in his prime. So
yeah, wouldn't make too much sense for them to get rid of A-Rob, but if they can't come to terms on a long-term deal, which it seems like they won't be able to, and he's going to be out of Chicago next year, pretty likely. If you can get a first-round pick and move up to get a quarterback, then I could see it happening, like you mentioned. And the Dolphins, that is a pretty realistic landing spot. I didn't really think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it would give them what they want out of Jamar Chase, guaranteed. Probably less of a learning curve, and they would stack some picks later in the first. So I think it's possible. Let's talk about a couple of these other ones. Now we have some team specific trading props. Like, for example, will the Falcons trade the number 4 overall pick? Yes is where the good money is at plus 170. No is the favorite at minus 250. I actually like yes quite a bit here. I mean, we recently heard that Kyle Pitts no longer believes that he's going to be selected by the Falcons, and that he thinks it's going to be 4 quarterbacks off the board. Kyle Pitts, somebody who has legit, top 5 draft capital, or at least the potential to go in the top 5, guaranteed to go in the top 10. I think he's in the know, right? I think he has a sense of what these teams are going to do. These teams are obviously talking with these players this entire week. So, if he says that he thinks it's going to be 4 quarterbacks, I think that's pretty likely. Are the Falcons in range for a quarterback? They could be. It's about time that they're looking for Matt Ryan's successor, but I think more realistically, they do trade the pick to, a team like the Broncos, who I don't think is out of it just because they added Teddy. I don't think the Panthers are out of it because they traded, because they acquired Sam Darnold, I should say. And there are several other teams that are interested in trading above those handful of teams that are quarterback needy. For example, the Washington football team, Denver, like I mentioned, the Patriots. So I think that they actually do trade that pick.
Yeah, I would lean yes here too. I mean, you're getting good odds on it, plus 170. Definitely going to lay some money on that. And there was a report today that said anything's on the table for them, whether that be drafting a quarterback, drafting Pitts, or trading out. So with this specific prop for the Falcons and the number 4 overall pick, I would lean yes as well for all of the reasons that you stated. And I think a quarterback needy team like the teams you mentioned will probably be on the Falcons phone line on Thursday, seeing what it will take to get up to number 4.
Mm-hmm. And we also know that Julio Jones is reportedly on the trade market. I mean, that doesn't come out draft week for no reason.
There's gonna be some blockbuster trades, I think, for sure.
Yeah. So I was on Drafters earlier, and someone in the chat was like, "Blockbuster trade." I'm like, "No shit. What just happened?" It's Teddy Bridgewater, the Broncos. Bro, that's not a blockbuster.
That's a scrub trade.
That's a blockbuster, like the '90s store blockbuster. That's about as excited as I am about that. All right, what do you think about the Lions trading the number 7 overall pick? No is again the favorite, minus 175, and you're getting plus 135 for yes. Detroit Lions, my favorite team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I would lean yes here too, and I think I'm going to lean yes for all of these team-specific trade backs because it just makes a lot of sense for the Lions to trade their pick to accumulate more picks, especially when they have so many positions that they need to get better at. So I think it makes sense for the Lions to accumulate capital from a team like the Patriots or Washington or Chicago, and they move back like 8, 9, 10 picks, however many picks, and they pick up an extra first rounder. I mentioned it either on a stream or on a podcast where they're not a quarterback away. They're not a quarterback away from competing. Like, yes, if Trey Lance or Justin Fields falls to 7, I think it's a good pick if they stay and pick him. But I also think that accumulating more capital to have more shots on players to help your team could be very beneficial in the long term as well. So for this, I lean yes at plus 135, so decent odds. But I could easily see them staying at number 7 and taking a quarterback if one falls.
Yeah, I mean, my lean here is that they do trade it. I mean, I feel like they should trade it, but who knows? The Lions often do the wrong thing. But like you said, I mean, this team needs players at every single position. I mean, maybe you could say running back is good with Swift. You could say tight end is fine with Hawkinson, but what other positions are they secure in? Like literally none. They need players on both sides of the ball at basically every part of the field. So I mean, I think the smart thing would be to trade it, which maybe means that no is the sharp money for a Detroit Lions center prop. We have some odds for the following pick number 8. Do you think the Panthers trade? No is minus 200. Yes is plus 150.
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, I would probably lean yes to this one as well. I mean, one of these 3 teams is going to trade their pick. I don't know which one, but I think at least one, maybe 2 will trade their picks. I could see the Panthers trading this pick. Yes is plus 150, no is minus 200. So you're getting pretty good odds on yes as well. And then, just the theme with this draft is that there's teams behind the Panthers and the Lions that need quarterbacks. And while the Lions need a quarterback, we just talked about that. And while the Panthers might, take a shot on Trey Lance or Justin Fields if they fall, they did just send a second and a 4th round pick for Sam Darnold. So I think the Panthers' priority could be surrounding Sam Darnold with some talent. So I could see them staying at that pick and drafting like a tackle or an offensive guard with that pick. But I think that the teams in the teens will move up to the top 10 to get their guys, specifically quarterbacks. So I lean yes for all 3 of these prop bets.
When we look at the 3 teams that we just talked about, Falcons, Lions, Panthers, I think Panthers are the least likely to trade because I think that they are the most confident in Sam Darnold. Now, whether that's right or wrong, it's just the way the team views it, right? I think that they're confident going in with Sam Darnold as the starter. And I think that they could get lucky because, one of these say that the first 4 picks are quarterbacks, right? Sewell's probably going to be in the top 5. So, there may be another quarterback going at 7 or something like that. Jamar Chase goes at 6 and then a quarterback goes at 7. I mean, they could luck into getting Kyle Pitts at 8. They could land the top defensive player in the draft if the draft plays out the way a lot of people are expecting and it's just all offense in the top 10. So, I could definitely see the Panthers holding at 8 and lucking into some elite draft value with a player that falls due to positional scarcity. So I think they're the least likely, but I could also, again, definitely see it happening. I think that, the moral of what we've been talking about is that if you look at one of these other props, total round 1 trades within the top 10 picks, the over under is at 1.5, and you're actually getting plus money at over 1.5 plus 150. That might be my favorite bet we've talked about. I mean, all you need is 2 trades in the top 10. I think that's damn near a stone log.
Yeah, I agree. Plus 150 is great odds for this bet. Like you said, we only need 2 trades. There's some rumors of some other teams that might want to move up. So there are just so many teams that will potentially move up come the draft. And I think we do see 2 or more teams trade up to get their quarterbacks or, whomever is on their draft board. I think that is a very good bet, and I will definitely be betting that 1,000,000%.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all we've got, right? That's the draft props. Specials.
Yeah. One more. The total amount of trades in round 1. We have over 4.5 first round trades at minus 155, under 4.5 at plus 115. I think if we think there's going to be over 2 trades in the top 10, that over 4.5 seems likely at minus 155. So I think I would lean there. I'm just not too familiar on teams that might trade in the 20s in the later part of the first round. So I don't know about that, but I think if we're expecting quite a few trades into the top 10, I think over 4.5 is the sharp bet here, even at minus 155.
Yeah, I think I'd be more likely to just put more money on the over 1.5 for the first round
Yeah.
trades because I
Oh,
feel like
yeah,
that's more
100%.
solid than I would to take the minus 155, even though that is probably, I mean, it's the favorite. So I feel like it's likely. And we've recently heard reports like, the Bills might try and jump a couple teams to get, a running back. And, there's
Mhm.
always trades in the back end of the first round, whether it's just moving up 1 or 2 spots, someone coming into the back end of the first to get that 5-year quarterback deal if they want to get like Trask or something like that. But I don't know. I think it's definitely likely. I think it's the
Mhm.
deserved favorite. But if I'm choosing between those two, I'm definitely going to go with the plus 150. For 2 trades occurring in the top 10. That seems like such free money to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. So
All right, but that is going to be it for episode 138 of the DFS Dose podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the DFS Dose. I am at Ben Hauver. Joey's at Joey Carrington DFS. New episodes of the podcast drop every Thursday on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, and every other podcast platform on the internet. We will be back on Monday, May 3rd, with a special edition of the podcast where we go over the reactions to where all of these players land in the NFL draft, all 3 rounds. So make sure you check that out. We do live streams every Monday on the YouTube channel. If you're listening out there, we appreciate you. We value you. Until next time, let's stay accountable and keep it authentic. Vibes.